Markets are up today on increased consumer sentiment. It is at a 2.5-year high as inflation expectations ease. That's why we're moving up today. But there is a specter behind the curtain. We've talked about it before. We will talk about it again right now as we move into the VIX. We're also going to talk about, don't forget, we're going to talk about WULF. We're going to talk about MicroStrategy. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about a few other Bitcoin miners as well, but I'm going to do a little more heavily on WULF today. But first, let's talk about VIX. So we got a legendary 65 on the VIX here on August 5th when we had the collapse of the Japanese market. The last time we saw something even remotely this high was in 2020 when it went up to 85. So we were just 20 points shy of the 2020 crash. And then the highest it's ever been was the Great Financial Crisis, which is where it went up to 96, and that was in 2008. And along the way, we had an August 2015, we got a spike up to 53. In 2018, we got a spike up to 50, and we've seen subsequent spikes. Now, something to keep in mind is that once these things spike, as this one has done, usually there's another smaller one, but still dramatic. Soon after. You can see here in 2015 there was another one in January, just coming after July, so July then January. In 2018 there's one in February, and then it spiked again in December. All right, and then in 2020, yeah, we had the 2020, and then it came down because it spiked so hard it came down, and then did another little one in 2022. In 2008, it spiked in October, and then again in June 2010, and then again in September 2011. So like there were moves. It spikes, and it usually does so a few months or so later. Now, the last time we got a wick. Now, this is quite the blow-off top wick here. This is the fastest the VIX has ever calmed down. So I am weary of this huge wick on top here. If this were a stock, I'd say it's coming down. But since it's the VIX, it feels sneaky. I don't like it. The last time we got a wick long and intense like that, we've never quite had one quite that intense, but the last time we had one nice and long and intense like that was in February 2018. Let's see how Bitcoin reacted to that. February 2018. So I'm on the weekly here on Bitcoin. Let's go to February 2018 here. It's back here. All right, February 2018. You can probably pick it out on the chart here in about a second here. Let me just line it up. I'll give you about 1, 2, 3. Did you spot it? Yep, it's this one right here. February 2018, that's where that spike happened there. Now, how much did we drop? Now, this is a weekly chart. How much did we drop in 1 week off of that? We dropped 34%, right? 34%, which was then met by a 100% rally. And then from there, we just fell off a cliff. So now this was post the big run up. So this 2018 was the year when Bitcoin was falling down. That we're currently in the year where Bitcoin is moving up. But we saw an increased spike in the VIX by over 10 points here on August 5th, and Bitcoin fell. Here's the candle for it, and Bitcoin fell only 21% versus 35% on a much larger spike. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. I am looking at Bitcoin on the weekly chart. I'm looking at Bitcoin to cross over 67,443. If it fails at 67,443, I am going to start considering that it's going to come back to about $44,000. So I'll be watching this level very closely. I may unload my miners short term. Anything Bitcoin related, I may unload short term at that $67,000 level if it fails there. Okay, that's very important. If it fails there, if I get a candle that's got a wick on it up here and starts making a bearish formation, I'm going to probably jump ship for a month or two and let things come back down and then load back up again. The other thing I don't love about this is this formation right here. That is a lot of lines. Let me go to a different Bitcoin chart. Let me go to Bitfinex. Sure. No, not that one. I want to do. That was the wrong one. BTC USD. Let's go to the Coinbase one. There we go. No, I have lines there too. You know what? I can delete these lines though. It'll let me remove drawings. Okay. Great. Different Bitcoin chart. I love it. All right. Love to see it. Now, this formation here. It's kind of coming down a little bit, but the part that's concerning is this part right about here. That's a bit of a megaphone, right? It's making a bit of a megaphone. It touched the top once, twice, touched the bottom like 7 times. This is the third touch. Now, if we come up to this line up here, which is currently at $69,000. Like if we get up to $69,410, which in 2 weeks from now, which is probably when I'm expecting it to get up there, $68,600. And if we do not cross this line, if we don't break out of this thing, I will be looking at it to come back to the bottom of the megaphone, which around September will be at $44,000. Okay. That's what we're looking at. This is making a megaphone, and it is an ugly, ugly megaphone. It needs to get above this here. Now, if we go back to the other chart, the line it needs to get above is honestly this descending channel line right here. Let me get rid of this one. That one's fine. Yeah, okay. So this descending channel right here, if it cannot get above this, the next time it gets to the top of this channel, I will be looking for it to come back to this support back here at $44,000 that was created in December 2023. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for price to get back up here to the top of this channel. This one's about 67.4, right? Which, so it's a little higher than that, but it's fine. 67.4 is really what we're watching. We want to see it get above that, crush $70,000, not fail there, and then we can open up to 80, 90, $100,000, whatever you like. But if we do not get above this yellow line, if we do not get above the descending channel here, which I probably should adjust this to be something more like that. There we go. If we do not get above that, the next time it touches the top, we are looking at this thing to potentially come all the way down to about $44,000. Now let me readjust this line here. Actually, about right there. I bet you it'll kiss right there. Okay. And if we get this VIX resurgence sometime in the next month or two, we are watching that level. And I will be standing here, well, sitting, waiting for my prices to come down to significant lows where I will be loading up on just about everything. Okay. So if we get to the top of this channel and it doesn't look good, I'm unloading and waiting for it to come down. Okay. That's what I am doing. Of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Simply my thoughts on the charts. Now let's take a look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy has been doing okay for me. Let me get rid of this anchor VWAP. I was using that for a different trade today. We've been kind of hugging this midline here. It's trying to decide what it wants to do. Does it want to go up? Does it want to go down? We did get a cross up on the hourly here on the MACD. We are in bullish RSI, so this is looking good. It looks like this descending channel right here wants to break to the upside. We do need to get over $136 to really break that thing. Okay, we were doing that. We are coming up on resistance here at this yellow line at 133.86. We do need to break that. Once we break that, and it's looking good like we potentially could break that, it will come back to the top here about 139, maybe 140. I'll unload my put that I've got sold here for about a 60% profit, and then I'll wait for it to come back down, maybe to 130, maybe to 129 again. I don't know. We'll see. And then buy it, and then, sell another one for another $500, collect it at 60%. If it happens in a couple of days, like if it happens in like 2-3 days, if I get 60% profit in 2-3 days, I am taking it every single time. And I have been, and I've been making hundreds of dollars on my MicroStrategy put just this week. So that's pretty great. I will try to, yesterday I tried to provide the receipts on that. My editing software would not export my videos. I'm not exactly sure why. It's pretty frustrating. I'll try it again today on this one. So hopefully it'll work this time. Anyways, that's what I'm looking at on MicroStrategy. This is the hourly. Oh yeah, Bitcoin. Sorry, back to Bitcoin. I'm all over the place right now. Bitcoin does look bullish at the moment though. So I do think we're going to go back to the top of the range. Why do I think we're going to go back to the top of the range? Okay, one, we're creating a bullish formation, right? We got higher highs, right? Higher lows. That's great. We got 2 higher highs, or we got 1 higher high and 2 higher lows, right? So that is great. Or a higher high and a higher low. Sorry, I can't count today. We have a higher high and a higher low. The higher low is at 57,000. The higher high is currently at $59,000. We cross above 59,691. If we do that, we're going all the way up to 60,600 before we hit resistance again. Okay, that's what's going on right here. This formation is bullish. This is stair steps. 1 stair. We're looking for up here and then 2 stair, and then we're coming up here and looking for a 3 stair. Probably not 3. Probably get 2. So it'd be like Elliott wave, right? Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Wave 5 will take us back up to $70,000 if we get that 5th wave. Right now we are on wave 3. And wave 3 can take us up to about $60,000 before it comes back down to somewhere maybe around $59,000. But if it goes any lower than 58.6, then it's frustrated and it's going back all the way down. We're also seeing in this pattern here a bit of a head and shoulders. We've got a shoulder, a head, and another little shoulder here. It's a pretty ugly shoulder, but it's there. And these tend to be pretty powerful in the inverse way, and that could also take us up to like the mid $60,000 on that formation as well. That's got a neckline here. Let's see, boo, 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 something like that. Yeah, we're currently sitting right on the neckline of that pretty like deformed head and shoulders, but it is a head and shoulders all the same on Bitcoin. So we are looking in the lower time frames, we are looking pretty bullish on Bitcoin. And if I go to the daily, we are almost trying to do a cross up on the MACD on the daily. We have been printing white bars on the red side of the MACD for a little while. That's pretty great here. If we can close up where we currently are, maybe just a little bit more. If we can push up to like $59,000 today, I'll be feeling pretty good about that. Also, take a look. We're making another little tiny megaphone here on Bitcoin, like here, right? And this is kind of like going like this, right? Another bit of a megaphone, just like what we see on the on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. So the next time, so it's touched the bottom twice, touched the top once. It really needs to get above that. If you can get above this red line right here on the 1 day, if we can get above that, we will hit the yellow line, which will be significant resistance. We cross that yellow line, we're going to quickly find our way all the way up to like $67,000 very, very quickly on Bitcoin if we can manage to do that. All right, let's take a look at Wolf. That's what you came for, right? Wolf. All right, Wolf is looking amazing right now. I love this formation. This is fantastic. If I had any dry powder for Wolf, I'd be buying Wolf right now. None of this is a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. It is not financial advice. Make your own decisions. This big formation coming down right here, right, which flattened out right there, down between 339 and $4. Oof, oof. This thing is primed to go back up to $6. It is just absolutely primed. As soon as I get that cross up here on the MACD, I'm looking for this thing to hit that yellow line there at 435, crush it, and find its way back up to 535 real fast. That's what I'm looking for here. We are bullish on the RSI. We just need that cross up on the MACD. We are breaking out today on TeraWolf. It is up 11% today, while everything else is kind of anemic in terms of its moves, and it is pretty dramatic on there. But we are outside of this aggressive descending channel, which is what I've been saying we would need to wait for on assets like Mara and a few others. We're out of it on Wolf. Wolf is showing strength here at this level. This area where we are right now on Wolf, this is a buy zone, right? That's something you need to be aware of. Now, what could happen if it fails? If it hits the yellow line at 435 and it fails, it's going to find its way back down to about 331. Okay, 331 is where it's probably going to find itself to rest. We did get past that set, yeah. So that's there now. All right, so let me go here. Let me reset this here to about right here, about 330ish. Right, that's where we're going to come back down to if we fail at that yellow line. We'll come back, fill that gap again, tap it at the bottom, and then reach, and then try for that yellow line one more time. But this is looking great. Wolf also released their second quarter, their Q2 report a couple of days ago. They are now debt-free, right? They are debt-free. In July, they paid off their debt in full, so they're debt-free right now. Okay, they saw revenue growth of 130% plus year over year. Okay, that's fantastic. They did not have, so they did miss a few things, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, they're debt free. That's great. That means they have room to take debt and take risk, which soon will be beneficial to them, especially since we are seeing the big boys, Mara and Spark, taking debt, taking risk. TeraWolf is now in a position where it can do that as well and play with them in that level. They increased their hash rate 80% year over year as of June. Fantastic. They are also looking at getting into high performance computing, which is a great addition to pretty much any Bitcoin. They go hand in hand. Honestly, it goes hand in hand with Bitcoin. I know people don't like that. I initially didn't like it. I like it now. It is a revenue generator. It has saved some of the investments I have made in the past on some of these Bitcoin miners. I like this. Wolf is looking very good. Honestly, it's looking very good. Let's move over to another one that is looking interesting right now. IREN. I like IREN right now where it is. It is doing a very similar thing to Wolf. It's only up 5.62% today, but it came off of this aggressive selling, right? This aggressive selling channel right here. I'll do a parallel channel on this one. It came out of this aggressive selling channel. It is out of it. It's fully out of it. We got a day today where we completely detached ourselves from this aggressive descending channel. This thing's going to turn around. Once it gets above this purple line at 832, it's going to run up to 928, where it'll hit some more resistance. Once it gets solidly over 928, let me get rid of that line now. Once it gets solidly over 928, we are going back to $11. I am loading up on this thing under $8. I've got about 600 shares of this right now. I'm looking at getting it to about 1,000 shares over time. Of course, I'm not pulling the trigger, because remember, we're waiting for that specter of the VIX to return and potentially drive us, if this thing returns, right? If VIX returns, this could be a fake out breakout. This also goes for WULF. This goes for anything you're investing in right now. It could be a fake out breakout. And if that specter of the VIX returns, I would not have all my dry powder put into equities right now, because if it does return, we are going to break these lows. This $6 low on IREN will break, and it will find itself potentially all the way at 472, probably more like 528. It will find the lowest level of support that the market will hold. It will find it, and it will find it fast. So I am not deploying all of my dry powder. I am buying it in small chunks, usually about 50 to 100 shares at a time. That is what I am doing. Because if we get that VIX spike and it hits $4, you better believe I'm going to go to my full position on that day. And then I'll just sit and wait and be happy. Okay. One thing we are looking at here, though, MACD on IREN about to cross up to give us a bullish cross on the daily. The RSI is at 45. It's not quite bull territory, but it is knocking on the door of bull territory. This little pennant right here, this little formation right here, that pennant right there, it is breaking out today on today's daily candle. That is happening on IREN. This is looking super duper bullish, but be cautious. Okay, be cautious. The VIX can return with a vengeance, and it'll do it fast. It'll drop you hard. We might lose 50% or more in a single day. That could happen. Okay, so keep your eyes open. I am DCAing. I am not going in double-fisted with all of my cash. I am waiting, because if the VIX returns with a vengeance, we are coming all the way down to my yellow line down here, potentially, maybe even all the way. If it really wants to get nasty, it might come all the way down to here, which is about 355. Okay, about 355. And that goes for all the miners. Honestly, that goes for every equity right now. If that VIX comes back, we are going to drop, and drop hard. You will see me rolling on my micro strategy as hard and fast as I can, just like I did on August 5th while I was in Japan still. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, Clean Spark. Let's take a look at Clean Spark. How's Clean Spark looking? Not as good as IREN or WULF, right? It went on an absolute waterfall down. Okay, absolute waterfall down. It is breaking out of this disgusting little downward trend here. It's breaking out of it today. I like that. The MACD also in a good place. RSI not in as good a place as I need it to be. We will hit significant, and I mean significant, resistance at between 1458 and 1467. 1458 to 1467. We will have significant resistance there that we need to watch out for. And if that fails there, we'll probably come back to 1272. If we get the VIX return and it comes back in hard, Clean Spark will likely hit 752. It might break through that and come all the way down to $6 or less. Okay, so keep that in mind. $6 or less potentially on Clean Spark if this thing comes down on a VIX attack. All right. If that is to happen, I'm buying more Clean Spark, because I really think Clean Spark is one of the best Bitcoin miners around. So yeah, that's what we're looking at here. This right here was a beautiful Wyckoff distribution right there. Beautiful, beautiful distribution. Mostly given to us by the leaders of Clean Spark. Thank you, leaders of Clean Spark. And we are now finding an area where we will get accumulation, and that accumulation can happen anywhere between 12 and you guessed it, $4. Anywhere in that little space right there, right? Let me draw a box instead, actually. Okay, anywhere in this space, honestly, about right here. Anywhere between $5 and $11, we could find our accumulation zone where it will stay until it decides to break out. And when it breaks out, it's going to find itself at like $17, $18 real fast. And then it will also find itself probably at $30 very quickly after that. So summer run is over. It's done. For Clean Spark, it didn't really happen, right? It came down to 15, ran up to 21, and that was it. IREN did way better. WULF did way better. CORZ did way better. Bitfarms did pretty good. Digital did way better. Mara kind of sucked. It was okay. Riot never really got one. Summer run is over. Okay, it's over. It's done. We're in August now. We're going into September. It's going to be rough. this is the time where we find out what we're made of, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at Riot real quick. Riot's pretty interesting too. Riot is actually hitting a bottom here, right? This is Riot compared to its peers doesn't have far to fall. Like if we get a VIX attack here, Riot will probably come down to like 6, maybe 550, right? 6 to 550 from $8. It's a significantly less drop than what CleanSpark's going to see, than what IREN's going to see, than what any of the other ones is going to see. Like Riot is at the bottom. Riot is not having a good time. Nobody likes Riot right now. But what do we know about stocks when nobody likes them? If they don't like them and there's no real good fundamental reason to not like them, it's probably a good time to accumulate them. So Riot might actually be in a good area here, a buy zone, just like all the others down here at the bottom. Notice how it does not really want to go below that 756. We're at $8.01 right now. If the VIX attack does not come, if we don't get that resurgence of the VIX, the lowest I see this going is 756. Okay, the highest I see it going, short term anyways, 976, right? We're looking at an almost $2 increase versus a 50-cent decrease in risk in terms of risk reward right now. That's like a 4x risk reward right now on Riot. Riot is in a great place. Now, I'm not buying Riot because I'm still upset with them. But I mean, if you're not upset with them, why not? What's stopping you? And if it goes past that, we could go all the way up to about 1130 before we hit some significant resistance between 1130 and $12. Okay, so Riot is actually in a pretty fantastic spot if you think you want to own some Riot. Okay, that's all I'm having to say. I don't own any Riot. I'm just saying it's in a good spot. I think it's a pretty sweet spot. I'm a bit tapped out right now. I have other things I'm working on. I'd much rather be in MicroStrategy, to be honest, and that is my personal perspective. Doesn't need to be yours. It's okay. We all invest in things that we like at the times that we like them, and we don't invest them in things we don't like at times that we don't like them. And for me right now, Riot's just not something I want. But if you want it, it's in a great spot, honestly. I think it's in a great spot. Mara, also in a great spot. Now, I have been buying Mara calls. Okay, Mara calls out to December, because when Mara decides to decidedly break out of this aggressive descending channel, right? When it decides to break out of this aggressive descending channel, look how aggressive that is. And today it was fully detached, right? Today it's fully detached, up 4.3%. Maybe I should add a little bit. I'll see. It has room all the way up to 1930, easily. Clear air all the way to 1930. Above 1930, clear air all the way to 2275. My calls will be singing if that happens. The MACD, just like all the others, is in a great place. It's whirling up. It looks like it wants to make a cross up. The RSI, like CleanSpark, not quite where I need it to be yet, but it is getting there. Now, if we get a VIX attack, all right, VIX attack. If we get that, Mara is going to break that low. Mara breaks that low. We're coming all the way down to $10.50, right? 10.50. That's what we're looking at. About 10.70. We're looking at about 10.70 if the VIX decides to come back with a vengeance. We could find it all the way down there, maybe even lower. I mean, if it really came at it hard, 870 on Mara, that could happen. That could happen in a heartbeat if that happens. Okay. On the upside, though, now if it doesn't happen, downside is 464 from $16 right now. Okay. Upside is $19. Okay, so it's $3 up versus $1.40 down. So 2-to-1 risk ratio if the VIX does not resurge. Okay. Not bad on Mara at all. I like this positioning. Let's see. Let's take a look at CORZ. CORZ, what's up with CORZ? CORZ breaking out of the not even aggressive downward channel here. We're at resistance at $10.01. We get above $10.01. This thing is moving up $2 more. Okay, so it's going to move up $2 more if that happens. We are on the cusp of a MAC. I have to zoom in here so I can see it. We're on the cusp of a MACD cross up while the RSI is in bull territory on Core Scientific. Core Scientific, if I were a betting man, I'd say it's going up to about $12, quick, fast, and in a hurry. So take a look at CORZ there. I like that. If you're holding CORZ, man, congratulations. I missed the whole boat on this one. I missed it on this one. And that's okay, because I just didn't think it had enough history for me, and it didn't even come back to this line down here. This one has shown the most strength. Yesterday, we talked about how State Street increased their position in this by 300% or more, right? BlackRock also increased their position in this thing. So there is belief by the big boys that CORZ's got a lot more to run in it. So keep your eyes on CORZ. If you've got it, congratulations. You're really crushing it there. What else do I need to take a look at? Bit Digital. We'll just take a quick look. Bit Digital is still in its aggressive downturn. It needs to break out above $3. As long as it's trapped under $3, We're not going anywhere. We're trapped between $3 and this trend line. It is coiling. It is looking for either a break up or a breakdown. If it breaks up, we're going back up to about $3.50, potentially $4 if it's aggressive. If the VIX comes back with a vengeance, we are going to break this low, likely at 229, and find ourselves back at about 180, maybe even as low as, 180 for that. So that would suck. I don't want to do that. Please don't do that. That would suck so hard. Anyways, yeah, that's it. That's it for Bit Digital. It's not looking too great, too bad. Bitfarms in a much nicer position here. Bitfarms creating a bull flag right here. And it is doing a bit of a breakout of that bull flag right now. If we can get above 250 on Bitfarms, we're going to find ourselves back up at $3 real fast. Now, if we go below 216, we're going to find ourselves back in this big descending channel, which could take us all the way back down to 164, maybe even lower if that were to happen. That's only at the VIX. If we get the VIX, if the VIX surges back, yeah, we'll break below that 217. We'll find ourselves back at about 165 on this. Now we did, Bitfarms gave us the cross up on the MACD, on the RSI, and on the RSI. We are bullish. So we got a MACD cross up, bullish cross up. We got bullish RSI. We just have a little bit of resistance above us at 250. We crushed 250. Bitfarms is going to fly. So watch that real close. Let's take a look at HUT real quick. What's HUT doing? HUT's doing basically the exact same thing as IREN, as well as, what was the other one that it was doing that to? Mara, I think it was, and RIOT, but not as bad as RIOT. Looks exactly like IREN. Has room up to 1469. Above 1469, it has room up to 1762. On the low end, it could come down to 1074. If we get a VIX attack here, we could find it coming all the way down to $9 on HUT. So that's the rundown on HUT real quick. We'll take a look at CIFR real quick. What's going on with CIFR? Now, CIFR looks a lot more like RIOT, where it's gotten quite flat down here. To the downside, we're hanging out at the bottoms too. To the downside, we really only see room down to about 356. Upside potential $5. So you could be seeing like a 30-cent drop versus a $1.20 jump. That's pretty cool. That's actually not a bad risk reward right there. Now, if the VIX comes back with a vengeance, we could see it drop below $3 on CIFR. So keep your eyes on that one too. That is all I've got for you today. It's got kind of long there at the end. Tomorrow we will do the weekly closes on the Bitcoin miners. We will also, because I haven't done it yet, we'll do the monthly candles on the Bitcoin miner. So tomorrow's going to be a nice long video. Watch it when you've got some time, sit down, have something to drink, enjoy the narration of Trade Cave for a little while we go over both the weekly and the monthly candles for tomorrow's video. Now, with that said, please like, comment, subscribe, check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Share this video if you think the information is worthy of sharing, and have a profitable day.